Okay, folks, let's see how we go with this one. I made two errors in judgment for the two videos I did before this one. I did one with a t-shirt with butterflies, and I did not do what's known as a switcheroo to show a different possibility. And I'm really disappointed. And then I did a magazine, the North Shore Times. North Shore Times. And again, I could have done another switcheroo, and I failed to do it. So I'm really upset about that, folks. It's really hard as an artist when you just don't know when you have to switch the images around to make a different possibility. And it really hurts me as an artist, when I failed to do that, when I had a gut feeling I should have done it. And I did two in a row like that. And it really upsets me, folks, that I could have had a better presentation of what I was doing instead of the presentation that I chose. It really is hard to judge until you've actually done that switcheroo. And if sometimes you think you can get away with it, and then you think, shit, as soon as you switch off you stop rolling, and then you fucking realise and think, shit. And it really hurts. It really upsets me when I do that. It really hurts me as an artist. This is what we're doing. This is what we're getting it out of. The North Sydney News, it's just a newsletter, and we're interested in this picture. But basically, I get really annoyed, folks, as an artist. It's really hard being an artist because it's like a perfectionist type complex you develop, folks, when you're an artist. You want to make the very best piece of work. You want to really crank it hard. And it really is difficult when you're an artist and you're like a perfectionist. You really want to give it your best. You want to make a really good piece of work. And it's really upsetting when you're just that close to creating something nice. And that's just a part of what I do, and it just happens every now and then that I don't always show the possibility, the pieces of paper in a different arrangement. It's what I meant by a switcheroo. And hopefully I can demonstrate the switcheroo with this piece I'm working on. Now that looks interesting. I think we need more vertical, or maybe we could push it down a little bit further, or maybe not. Maybe we'll push it up. But basically it really is annoying when when you try your best as an artist and you don't always get a result that's really as desirable as, and then you realise off camera that you could have done it differently, and you think, fuck, it really upsets you, really, as an artist. I don't know if many people feel that way about art. When you're an artist, it's a different story. And a lot of people, that's the thing, the viewer, an art gallery patron, or anyone that's an audience, often is less judgmental than the person who created the art. So the artist is really hard on artists are typically hard on themselves for things, and yet the audience couldn't give a flying fuck about this, that, or the other. They see it as a beautiful piece of art regardless of what goes on in the head of the artist. The artist indeed is the tough critic, the self-critic. And that's an interesting concept to try and grasp, is the artist is a tough critic of their own work, even if the work has a person, like a typical audience person. Like when you go and when you see a piece of, I know of an artist who paints and draws. I think he mainly draws. He draws, and I've seen him in public making art, and I found some of his work in a bin, some of his takes, and it looks as if he's been really hard on himself. This is me now being the audience, for a change. And basically this artist was really hard on himself, and he threw his drawings in the bin, and I could see that they were still beautiful. And I souvenired them. I don't know if I've still got them. I think they're still at Dad's place when I used to live there. I think Dad might have probably thrown them away with all my stuff for all I know, but I don't talk to my dad. I don't keep in touch because he's an asshole and I don't get along with him. So I'm not talking to him until he apologises for all the nastiness he's bestowed upon me as an artist. But basically, this artist I sometimes see in public, he just had some work that he threw in the rubbish. And it was still beautiful work, even though for him, it would have been riddled with mistakes or errors, or just not the way he wanted it. So it's a funny subjectivity between what the artist sees and what the audience sees. And basically the artist can be really tough on themselves. And that's just the way an artist often is. Now I'm just throwing these fuckers around. I'm just trying to get this out of the way. I've got other material there. So I'm just really annoyed at this shit. This is the makeshift nature of what I'm doing. But basically, we artists can be really, really tough self-critics, and really, it seems like we shouldn't be, but we are. And we do throw things away, or we just don't want to keep it, or we just don't want to look at it for all we know, because it's just too painful to see that we could have done it better. So artists are tough self-critics of what we do. Now I'm just wondering which one is the better one. I think this one. We want to get this close to the edge. So we'll just put that last one away, and I think I think this one is going to be an example of a switcheroo. So we'll just do an example of this, just to demonstrate what I'm talking about, what I missed in the last two demos that I did. But basically, I can be tough on myself, and I'm sure a non-artist or an audience person would still see the beauty of what I do, except if it's my fucking dumbass father or my dumbass brother who've never really agreed with my creative use of the photocopier. I don't know what they see, what they're against it. What they hold against it, just because it might be considered a bit eccentric. And eccentricity doesn't go down too well with my dad and my brother. They're really normalcy freaks. They thrive on everything being normal and average and run of the mill. And they don't really like true creativity, and that it really hurts my feelings, and I can't talk to them. If I could say fuck you both. But basically, yeah. So switcheroo, I can show you what a switcheroo is. Sometimes I do a switcheroo and it didn't work out as well, because the switcheroo wasn't necessary in the end. So it's a bit of a tough decision, because I hate it when I do a switcheroo and the switcheroo isn't as good as the original version. So I'm just moving some of this shit away. This is my makeshift art table. This is what I have to do, and I shoot using natural light through the window, which is a real pain sometimes. Sometimes the sun shines on the bed and it makes it fucking wreck it, ruins my work. And there you go, that's the first version. Looks nice, but I do see another possibility. So this is the switcheroo. This is what a typical switcheroo may provide. So different angle, a different way of looking at the same piece of work, same piece of piecemeal, well, not piecemeal, I don't know if piecemeal's the right term, but this piece of compound piece of art. Compound pieces, just like compound eye in a fly, an insect, compound. And anyway, that's come up looking good as well. It's probably even better, so I'm glad I did it. So there you go, folks. That's the switcheroo explained.